Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and in today's video I'm going to try and showcase a couple of games from a machine that doesn't really get an awful lot of love. It seems to be quite an unpopular little tank. It's the T21, the American Tier 6 light tank. So this is not the new American Tier 6 light tank, this is the machine that's on the line, the American oscillating turret auto-loading line that culminates in the T57 Heavy, but this is the final tank in the line that does not get an auto-loader. And so I think that's one of the reasons people don't like this. This thing doesn't get an auto-loader. People say, oh, it's a scout, it should be really fast. This isn't really fast, and I will do a review of this at some point and give you my full thoughts, but I have fun in this. I've had fun driving this little machine. I think this is an underrated Tier 6 light tank. In fact, I think this is one of the better Tier 6 light tanks, of the ones that I've driven so far anyway. As for the map, well, this is Severogorsk, and for a light tank this is not a particularly good map, let's be honest. You know, light tanks like space to maneuver, they like to be able to flank people, they like to be able to spot people from a distance, all of these things, and Severogorsk does not really give you many opportunities to do that. Severogorsk is a very linear map. There are basically 3 corridors, 1 down the middle, 1 on each flank. And so you end up trying to sort of, I guess, put in bits of damage early on and then mop up toward the end of the game. And you can say, well, that's what you do in a light tank in most games, right? Well, yes, I guess. But it's much harder to achieve on this map than it is on some of the more open maps. Nonetheless, you know, you take what the matchmaker throws at you. I guess it means that on this sort of map you're even more dependent on what your team does. Anyway, first shot of the game into an E25 does some damage. Nice way of starting. So this little light tank gets the M1A2 76mm gun. That's the gun that you get on the Tier 6 Shermans. It's the stock gun on the T29, and for a Tier 6 light tank it's not a bad little weapon. It gives this tank respectable firepower, and when you combine that with the 10 degrees of gun depression, it really does mean that this tank can be a right little nuisance. So we're currently winning this game 4-1, which is nice, but there's a Cheeto that's pushed its way right the way through the middle of the map, currently being chased down by a Stuart. And there's also a Stura Emil in the background, VK2801 to our left. Now I'm cautious about that VK because he's almost invariably going to be packing the 105mm howitzer, and those HE shells can do a lot of damage to me. Having said that, clean shots into a Cheeto, I'll take them any day of the week. Now, this VK is unlikely to one-shot me, but he can do an awful lot of damage to me because my armor sucks. We're winning 6-4, so I'm just trying to, you know, have broken contact with this guy, and we're going to try and see where this fellow is. Nope, didn't get spotted. He's not around there. Oh wait, no, I did get spotted. There he is. He's exactly where he was before, but he currently appears to be distracted, so we take a snapshot at him. Alas, it misses, but let's not worry too much about that. So VK appears to be going after the KV-85, so while he's distracted, I'm going to see if I can make his life difficult. Oh, he's looking at me, but he's on fire. Back off, and we pick up the kill, which is nice. So that leaves the scoreline 9 kills to 4. And, oh good lord, there's a Tiger 1, and there's an M6, and there's the E25, and I do not just want to dive right into the middle of that, because I will probably wind up dead. So I know there's a Tiger 1 over there, and I've just been spotted, so they know I'm over here as well. But being a little light tank, I mean, with any luck, you just sit still for a while and people forget that you're there. It's not like a big fat tank destroyer with a massive gun and people go, oh Christ, remember that thing's there, because that's going to hurt if it shoots you. No, you're just a little tank with a little pop gun, so people tend not to pay you too much attention. We put 1 shot into that Tiger, 2 shots into that Tiger, and then we just back off because he appears to be looking at us. And he is no longer spotted. So I'm just thinking about hopping out the other side of this hut. There he is. Take a shot at him, but, you know, it's not fully aimed. It doesn't go in, whatever. Back off. This ammunition is cheap and cheerful. And he's disappeared once more as their E25 polishes off our Tiger 1. And now we've been spotted, so we're just going to concentrate on bugging out and not getting shot repeatedly by a Tiger, because a Tiger has pretty darn nice DPM, but their Tiger there looks pretty screwed. He's got a variety of different people bearing down on him from a variety of different directions, and he's gone up to the Third Reich in the sky. So, E25 was last spotted somewhere in the middle. Ditto for the M6, speak of the devil, there he is, and shot into his side. And the KV2 was last spotted up top. And we'll put another in for good measure, KV85 polishes him off. So the E25 was last spotted somewhere in the middle, the KV2 was last spotted somewhere on the sort of 8-9 lines. So just trying to be a little bit cautious. Ooh, E25 nailed our KV2. Wolverine's, you know, C9, D0, that sort of area. Okay, he's trying to bring our attention to that area. So we've got a tank destroyer who's at F8. I'm trying to go around this way so that we make sure that they're not at this end of the gully or this end of the 8 and 9 lines, but E25 has been spotted at the other end, and with any luck our SU-122-44 shouldn't have too much trouble polishing this guy off, depending on where that KV2 is. I decide to go around and come up behind the E25, but SU takes him out. There's the KV2, manages to plant a high explosive shell, I assume, into the rear arm of that SU and take him out. Now, I am not convinced that, in fact, I don't think I'm going to get over to that KV2 before he's reloaded. Or certainly, if I go over there, I think I'm really risking that KV just killing me in one shot. So I'm waiting for our other teammates to go in as well. And if you're driving a light tank in particular, that's what you want to do. You don't want to be the one person that people can shoot, because your armor is terrible and your health pool is terrible. You really want to use that mobility to get around people's flanks, get around their sides, and put shots into them while they're distracted by someone bigger and scarier than you are. So we've got this KV85 coming up. Wolverine's gone around to the left. Stuart Emil's way back on the other flank, and there's also a Tiger who's done very well for himself and picked up 4 kills, so well done to him. There's the KV2. And now I decide to try and move in to help this KV85. Now, which way is this KV85 going? He's deciding to go left. Okay, I was originally going to go that way, but whatever. I will go around the other flank, and hopefully the two of us should be enough to work this guy over. We've got a Wolverine coming in for backup, if that's necessary. Right, KV85, KV2 are squaring off against each other. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I wasn't expecting the KV2 to kill the KV85 in a single shot. But, at the moment, I'm currently counting the reload of this guy in my head. It will be, assuming that he's got, you know, equipment and stuff, it will be something around 19-20 seconds, and it does not help that he's traversing his hull and his turret in opposite directions. So while he's doing that, I'm just going to take advantage and put more shots into him, and then when I judge that it's no longer safe for me to do so, I back off. Wolverine's come up behind him. Looks like the KV2 is turning his turret to engage the Wolverine. And so while he does so, I'm going to come up and try and engage this guy. Again, I wasn't actually expecting the KV2 to take out the Wolverine, but there we go, c'est la vie. That secured the game. Now, a couple of the guys were going move T21, but the reason I was being a little bit more cautious is that, well, firstly, I didn't expect the KV85 to die in a single shot. Secondly, I thought the Wolverine was going to be able to pull back to a position from which he couldn't be shot in. I assumed he had put himself in a position where that would be the case. Turns out I was wrong. Never mind. And it cost us 2 tanks, but never mind. We managed to polish off the game in the end. And that ended up being a fairly decent result. First class mastery if memory serves. So, there's game number 1. Have a look at the post-game stats, and then we'll jump into game number 2. Here we are with game number 2, of course, we're still in the T21. This is a tier 8 game, so this is sort of middle of the road matchmaking. The previous game we were top tier, if you will, it was a tier 7 game. This is middle of the road matchmaking. It's kind of standard for what you can expect. And we are here on the Siegfried line. It's a standard game, so we're just going to try and see what we can actually achieve. Now, Siegfried line has a town dominating a chunk of it. Don't really want to go into that town. That just seems like a really good way to get yourself killed. Again, you're in a light tank. You like mobility. You like space to maneuver. All this jazz. And the town offers you none of that. So, we're going to take to the field side and try and get some spots. You can see I've got binocular. I mean, this is my standard grinding equipment, but binocular telescopes and a camo net, certainly for a scout, are not, or for a light tank, are not a terrible idea. So initially, this is going to be a bit of scouting, which the previous game didn't really have much of. It didn't really give you much opportunity to do any. And when you look at the post-battle results, I would like you to pay particular attention to the results obtained by our IS-6. He has a very good game. So well done to you, Lida 1990, Lida, something like that. Leopard over there. Didn't want to take a shot because I did not want to reveal my position. There's an easy 8. I take the shot because I'm estimating that I can take it without being spotted, and if I do get spotted, I've got 6th sense, so I should find out. Easy 8 ducks behind cover, and our Chaffee appears to be getting shot up by somebody. Don't really know who at the moment, but he's being a bit too aggressive, if I'm honest. That Chaffee's just going to pay for this, I think. It's not particularly good play. He got taken out by a Super Pershing. There's the Super Pershing. Showed up on my map, but had not actually been resolved yet. Long range shots at a Super Pershing from the front, very unlikely to go in. I'm not even going to bother. So not only is it a waste of time, it's worse than a waste of time because you are also wasting the credits of the shells. Not only that, you are risking giving your position away. So, be somewhat speculative about what shots you take. There's an M41 Bulldog, the new tier 7 American light tank. Seems to be a very good machine, and I really wanted to get some shots on him. Alas, my shots missed. So we're going to go up in this bush and set up our binoculars. This guy is 401 meters away. I haven't been spotted. Alas, the SU-100Y has. And he parked right behind me, and so he actually cost me a shot. It cost me some health. Don't do that, guys. Don't park behind people, especially if you have a terrible camo rating and the person you're parking behind has a good camo rating. No, I'm not going out there and potentially taking more damage for you, Mr. SU-100Y. Your positioning sucked. Never mind. Alright, so I've taken what felt like a 76mm shell. Walker Bulldog. Don't have much to shoot at, only part of his turret, and this gun is not really very accurate at the best of times. And our Object 416 also gets worked over. So, I'm trying to move forwards again into this bush, trying to keep the wrecks of these guys between myself and anyone who's going to shoot me, find a shot on that T25-2, and take him out. AMX-12T has been tracked, so I'm going to see if I can pour some fire into him. Alas, that second shot misses. But does he quite make it behind that cover? Oh, damn you, accuracy. Well, I managed to keep working him over. Weakness of a lot of the American tanks, including the light tanks, is that the accuracy is not that great. And the scoreline is currently 6 kills apiece, and someone is sitting in our base. Huh. Well, the enemy appear to have completely pushed through on the 890 lines, which is annoying. And so they've made it through into our base with multiple tanks in that vicinity. So, screw this. I'm going to try and pull back toward our base to try and defend it. Now, we're actually winning this 8-6. We managed to take out that, or someone managed to take out that 12T and a T32. Why am I keeping my turret facing to the rear? Well, very simple. The turret provides a marginally better chance of bouncing. I'm likely to take fire from behind me, or that's the position from which I'm most likely to take fire, and thus my turret is behind me. Now, I'm in a light tank, I don't actually expect to bounce any shots, but I'm trying to maximise whatever chances I have of getting those bounces. So, trying to come up here and initially help this T21. That's my priority, but alas, he goes down. VK3001P, put one shot in, second shot in, and I'm just auto-aiming at this guy. Now I aim properly. Third shot, can I polish this fellow off? Yes, I can. Kill number 2. There's still someone capping, and we know now that it's a Tiger 2. So, they just lost their Jag Tiger 88. So let's see if we can try and help do something about this Tiger 2. T21's pointing him out, but I already know he's there, but yeah, sure. I'll go and give a hand. SU-152 goes for it. While the Tiger 2 is distracted by the SU, we're going to plump some shots into the Tiger 2's side. Tiger 2 takes out the SU, alas, and then starts turning his attentions to me, which is suboptimal, but I managed to put in one more, quite lucky if I'm honest, shot before retreating. Use my gun depression. He's got the stock turret, but my gun is not punchy enough to go through it. And I don't want to expose myself anymore. These guys can handle him. And that leaves him on 56, and he's dead. Now, we know where the other two guys are. Well, we know where they were. The Super Pershing and the M41 Bulldog were both in that bottom left-hand corner of the map. They were the guys we saw earlier on. The Super Pershing is likely still down there because the Super Pershing is really rather ponderous, and he's probably not had the opportunity to relocate very far. In the interim, M41 Bulldog is an entirely different kettle of fish. That guy could be almost anywhere by now. So, let's go and find them. And I'm just running through in my head the best way to try and approach this. In the end, I decided to just approach from the field again. And to be honest, M41 Walker Bulldog is a very, very good tank. Some would argue perhaps too good, but depending on what gun he's got, I could still have him. If he's got the autoloader, if he's reloading, I'm just gonna kill him. And the T21 turns better than the Bulldog, certainly in a close range fight. But the Bulldog has been spotted toward the enemy base, so screw that. We're probably not going to be able to take him out, unless with some long range shots. So we're going to move forward and try and spot the enemy Super Pershing. Again, the Super Pershing may well have decided to try and head back to base in an attempt to try and defend it. Slim shot on that Bulldog goes to no shot on that Bulldog, but I take the shot anyway because reasons. And there's the Super Pershing. So I'm thinking right now, Bulldog as a 2-shot kill. I can take a few shots from the Bulldog. I should be able to have him in a close range knife fight. So I'm going to go and try and kill the Bulldog. He might be 2 tiers higher than me, but I've got more health. And his better DPM is not going to make up for that fact. So, Bulldog. He takes he takes 2 shots and dies before I'm able to kill him. My shell would actually have been on target, even though I fired it not very well aimed. But, you know, whatever. Someone else picks up the kill. That's fine. And so we're going after this Super Pershing now. And there he is, and nice juicy side shots, one into him. He takes more shots, more pain, he misses his shot. I should really be pulling forward at this point. I don't know why I'm being quite so cautious. I can take a couple of shots from this guy. Oh well, can I pick up the kill? Yeah. It still ended up being a pretty good game. So, as it turns out, I got one of the top 2 experience scores on my team. I think I was second. I think I got one of the top 2 anyway. As I mentioned, the IS-6 did really well. Big shout out to him. He got a great score at the end of that game. The other thing I'd like to mention with these 2 games, especially in that second one where the matchmaking was not as favourable, although I carry APCR on this tank, and actually I carry quite a respectable stock of it, I very rarely fire it, and in neither of those games did I fire a single shot of it. So there we go. A couple of fairly respectable games in the much maligned, and in my opinion unfairly maligned, T21, Tier 6 American light tank. I hope you guys enjoyed those games. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.